Smackdown Chicago was on another level. We had the official return of AJ Lee in the land of Chicago as she was accompanied to return after a 10-year hiatus, and she pretty much took care of business. The pop was loud as you possibly can get when it came to the Windy City, but it was a nice scene of having AJ Lee making her official return as she's officially now realigned back with her official husband, CM Punk. Of course, things broke down in a big way at the end of the actual show as AJ Lee made her inaugural return and was able to get physical with Becky Lynch. But in overall, SmackDown still was piss poor for what it was when it came to everything that took place. But in overall, this is setting up for WrestlePalooza, and I look forward to seeing how things continue to transition as we continue to see how Seth Rollins' face looked in shock and awe as he ended up seeing the return of AJ Lee. Now we get into John Cena, official last day on SmackDown, the official last era when it comes down to the franchise, the 17-time world champion who continues to stand the test of time. But more importantly, we had Brock Lesnar make his return as well, and things broke down in a quickness when we had things take a twist leading up to WrestlePalooza. But in overall, John Cena came out and pretty much talked about everything to his liking, including everything that took place from the heart. And on top of that, he was interrupted by Sami Zayn, and things broke down as we ended up having an open challenge for the United States champion. But in overall, it was calm, cool, and collected for what it was when it came to John Cena making his official return. But on top of that, it was a city where he originally started in Chicago. He made such a long legacy when it came to the overall performance when he first started, and now he ends it in Chicago when it comes to being close, as he has officially has 7 more dates when it comes to being a part of World Wrestling Entertainment. But in overall, I'd like to know from you guys' point of view, what was your best moment when it came to being a part of SmackDown, just in general? But let's go ahead and go along and talk about the history, including when that first Ruthless Aggression era moment with Kurt Angle, which was amazing, calm, cool, and collective. One of my best highlights when it came to the overall presentation of John Cena coming in with those rainbow tights. But overall, he was able to stand the test of time. But even though he lost to Kurt Angle, things broke down very quickly. Then we dive into the rest of SmackDown as we end up having Sami Zayn actually giving a highlight, giving props to the franchise, the 17-time world champion, being one of the greatest of all time. But in overall, the match was calm, cool, and collective. It was good. A lot of back and forth, great finishes, everything you truly could have asked for, including lovely AAA, double A, always called the attitude adjustment off the top rope. More importantly, we had a lot of back and forth as it was a lot of homage, including that spear which he delivered to Sami Zayn, and things broke down to quickness as we ended up having the Beast Brock Lesnar making his official return back to the land of the Blue Brand, and he took care of business and was able to F5 not only Sami Zayn, but he also was able to take care of business and F5 John Cena leading up to WrestlePalooza. Of course, it's still going to be piss poor, but other than that, this is what WWE is going to try to market and make things to a likeness when it comes to the overall talent, or when it comes to the Beast or any other nostalgia talent. But in overall, I'm not looking forward and excited to seeing how things break down. But in overall, when it comes to John Cena's career, I'm all for to see what may actually happen in the long run. But when it comes to the Beast, it's still unanswered answers to what may happen. When it comes to Triple H, I feel like he's just kind of like in the dark when it comes to the way how things have been breaking down with TKO. But he's doing the best he possibly can when it comes to the overall storyline, even with nostalgia, even with talent coming back. But in overall, you know it's going to be a good one when it comes to WrestlePalooza when you have the Beast Brock Lesnar versus John Cena. Now let's go ahead and move along to the next following thing that we're going to go ahead and talk about, which is Cody Rhodes, of course, is going to be appearing on Friday, August 23rd in the lovely city of South Jefferson over in Fall Creeks, Virginia. Then we finally get to the placeholder card for John Cena versus Brock Lesnar for WrestlePalooza, which should be an all-out great match when it comes to in 2 weeks as they go head-to-head, not actually head-to-head, but later in the evening against All Out for AEW. But I look forward to seeing how things may break down. Alright, we moving along as Aleister Black was able to defeat Damian Priest in a piss poor match. But in overall, what the hell are they doing with Damian Priest? Right now, he just came back on a Vengeance tour and got his ass whooped in a big way when it came to the overall performance of Aleister Black. But he's a former World Heavyweight Champion and pretty much got taken care of business. Moving along, Julia was able to successfully defend her United States Championship after a back and forth battle with Michin after involvement of Kiana James, but it was alright. Alright, we getting back to this piss poor interview by Tiffany Stratton, who was interviewed by Kathy Kelly. But in general, it was cool for what it was, but it's just give and take. We already know the end result. After we just saw this interview, Jade Cargill is going to be taking that women's championship off of her when it comes to WrestlePalooza, or even a few weeks from now. But it is what it is. Tiffany Stratton need to get her shit together and get back to it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, now we get into the closing segment of the actual night when it came to everything that broke down with this promo, which was an involvement with Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Becky Lynch after a long dramatic situation that has taken place since SummerSlam. Now with the involvement of Becky Lynch, part of the Vision, including antagonizing CM Punk in the past few weeks, including this following Monday and tonight at Monday Night Raw. Things broke down on the quickness when it came to the overall feel of things was happening, including Becky Lynch slapping them, disrespecting CM Punk in a big way. But also CM Punk let her know she's in Chicago, he can bring anybody from the crowd, even his own sisters, or even current superstars such as Bayley or Rhea Ripley. But the situation continued to break down and dragged out through the course of this promo. It was alright for what it was. But in overall, CM Punk left the ring and he said he's not going to put his hands on a female, but he knows someone who will. Just made the initial pop return for AJ Lee to eventually make her return in a big way with the Chicago crowd. She's a former WWE Women's Divas Champion, as well as a true pillar, a part of the division when it comes to the overall feel of what the ladies have been looking for, and someone that has inspired so many generation talent from the likes of Roxanne Perez and so many other great talent who looked up to her, including Zelina Vega, who played her in an upcoming biopic from the past. But AJ Lee was able to make her return in a big splash in a big way. The crowd had so many emotions, from crying to cheering to some people with a little bit of disappointment. It does take away a little bit from the women's division, as somebody officially will be taking a back seat. But in overall, AJ Lee was able to get physical and put her hands on Becky Lynch, and also embrace her love and aspirations to her husband CM Punk in the middle of the square circle. But the biggest question along the lines of everybody is, where does this go from here when it comes to this continuation feud, especially with AJ Lee making a splash and return when it comes to the WWE Square Circle? Will she be a part of Raw? Will she be part of Smackdown? She also signed a long and lucrative contract, which most likely will be for 2 years. And I'm excited to see what may eventually happen when it comes to the lines of AJ Lee. She knows how to pull strings, and she knows how to keep things in motions when it comes to the women's division. But moving along, as well as talking about Brock Lesnar, who's a big focal point as well to the division, as this feud for WrestlePalooza is really stacking up with nostalgia all around when it comes to the division of legends and not creating new stars. But I feel like that's a hurting point when it comes to World Wrestling Entertainment. But in overall, I'd like to know from you guys' point of view, how you feeling about
I'd like to know from you guys' point of view, how are you feeling about the return of AJ Lee and Brock Lesnar?
Like, comment, subscribe.
Post your comments down below.
Until the next
like,
episode,
comment, subscribe.
y'all be safe.
And I'll catch you guys
Have
in
a
the next
great
one.
one. I'm out. Peace.